Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We're going to be doing a top 20 power rankings before the season starts. Today, I am joined by Myth, otherwise known as, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. And I know you and Belair had this discussion, and I'm not sure if we ever got a real answer. So I'll let you introduce
Well, no
yourself.
one knows, it seems. Yeah, no one knows. I mean, it's a mystery at this point. I think at first it was Mythalieon, now it's Mythalieon. I don't really. I think Mythalieon is cool. I'll stick with it. Mythalieon it is.
Mythalieon. Okay. Because I've definitely not been saying that, but I'll try to say that or just stick with Myth. Either way, I've got Myth here.
Mythalieon might be my least favorite pronunciation, if I'm being
Mythalia.
honest.
Yep. Mine's a very
But
Americanized version of it. But
no,
we've,
I have like a lot of British friends like
yeah,
who say it like that. So I mean,
interesting. All right. Well, we've got
interesting.
top 20. Each of us have made the top 20 before the season starts. These are preseason rankings. We're going to be doing these before each regional. I'm planning on having a different guest on every single time. You've got a couple of rows hidden for some of the guests that I think I might have lined up. And then before the major, all four of us, whoever I collab with next and Mythalieon, we're going to be doing a pre-major top 20 power rankings. This is just top 20 in the world. You can have any teams. Like when we get to the major power rankings, they're not going to need to be major teams. But I figured I've done this throughout the seasons. Might as well have some people join me. So we're going to be going in the orders 20 through 1. Personally, I'm probably the most excited to see what you have at 16 through 20, mainly because that's where it really gets into the woods in terms of, okay, which teams do you rate higher than others? We all know
Honestly,
who's
and
going to be at the top.
anything past top four is really tough because I feel like I'd be shocked if we have a different top four, to be honest.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think our top four is pretty solidified. And
Because you
then,
know,
yeah. So either way,
yeah,
but
yeah.
without too much further ado, let's reveal number 20. I'm gonna do this in the very chalkcast way of doing it, where I just kind of highlight it and then reset the fill. And we've got Gen G Mobile One Racing here at 20 for me, and then New Jeans at 20 for Mythalieon. This New Jeans roster is the Amphis Super Lucky
Oh
Kaka
wait,
roster, right?
wait, no, wait. What's the? Wait, sorry, I briefly messed up. I realized I had New Jeans on there twice. I fixed it. Don't worry. But yeah,
All right, New Jeans is no longer on there twice. But all right, what's your thought with New Jeans this low, I guess?
basically my thought is that after the shuffle in OCE, they've been the ones online. They've been online in the regionals, well, regional events. I'll say they won the very prestigious 2v2 Hoops Open, which of course, uh, we may as well hand them the world's trophy already. OC 2v2 Hoops champions. They won the RLO, uh, the RLO tournament for 2024, and they've won the 3v3 Open. So that is with the old roster. That is with the Power Core playing with Gus instead of Banana Head, and now cancelled Banana Head Fiber Hunter roster. So I feel like I'll have to knock them down a peg based on the fact that Oshi is shuffled and the old, well, most powerful roster's gone back together.
Oh, so this is wait, which roster is this then? Are you saying?
New Jeans, it's Super Lucky,
Okay,
Kaka,
that's what I thought.
Anthus.
Okay, you were also talking about. Oh,
TSM now.
all right. You just rate the old power roster decently. Okay, I see it. I see it. All right. Gen G, I was debating on whether or not to have them in here. It's a very borderline team in my opinion. I know they're
Oh, I
getting
had them 20 before I started here. I've them about 21, so I
21.
guess
Yeah.
they'll be a. I would put an honourable mention, but I don't really like them, so they can be my dishonourable mention.
Yeah, I think the team gets a lot of disrespect, honestly, but I do still believe they're just on that top 20. I think they could
If
move
they have
up,
one
but
good player, if they
yeah.
have one good player, it's obviously tragic.
And that's
It's
Magic Bear, I
tragic.
assume, from your opinion. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
imagine. I mean, Jesus hot. So I have to on a lecture from a pro player about not shit talking because I get into trouble. No,
yeah,
seriously, Zanil had to go at me in shift earlier. It was crazy.
I
Shout
did
out to
see
Neil that
that.
we've reconciled it. It's all good.
Yep. And then I heard you were chirping back and forth with the SSG guys, and then I got a few strays in there. But um, That aside, let's
Yeah.
roll number 19. All right. Wow. That lines up.
Oh,
That's awesome. So I
yeah,
know
that's big.
I know you rate this redemption roster. This is Cash, Toxic, and Smokes. I know you've been a big Toxic fanboy for quite a bit.
Oh,
So you want to explain how
oh.
you hope for this team to do this year?
Okay, so basically, because I've done a lot of theory crafting on how Toxic plays, I think I think you're sticking him next to mechanical players, which I think Toxic is one of the best adapters. He's a very good all rounder. Like I feel like this, he's never going to be the best in the world at anything. But if you ask him, hey, go get some demos, or hey, we want you to play some goal line defense, he's going to be able to do it pretty well. I feel like with that, Cash, I feel like he's a player who, there's a reason everyone was like talking his praises in like 21, 22, and the early stages of 22, 23, right? If you
Yeah.
give this guy the right system, he's going to be crazy. Smokes is another like unproven, was not particularly young, but unproven gun, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, I think it's fun that the last three teammates of Arju and Methane Duo are teaming up. So I think that's fun little bit of trivia for you guys. But yeah, I'm really excited. I think they're gonna make some upsets. They're gonna surprise some people.
Yeah. I think Toxic is honestly like my least known quantity of this trio. I've been, Cash had
He's
several
crazy.
pop off moments dating back to 2020, and then Smokes has been one of those guys where it's like, oh, this guy could be one of the next best things. So if they mesh, I'm excited to see what they could do, but we still have to see it on the pitch, and unfortunately, haven't really seen it
Yeah,
all that much on the pitch from these guys. So I'm hoping they rise, but we'll see.
yeah,
For
that's
number
cool. Yeah, just, yeah.
Yeah, for number 18.
How many times do you reckon we'll get the same team?
Wow.
Ooh,
Okay. So we don't have a team name for Hoxer, Chicago, and Kofer, which is why they're just kind of here. Vision Esports.
little
This is
spoiler. What's crazy? That I rate him higher than you do. It seems.
yeah, that's not the Mina color we're using. I think this is the Mina color we're using. Yeah, that looks right. But
Yeah,
yeah, so I obviously have the big question mark about Kofer. And unfortunately, with rosters like, the Hawks or Chicago core, normally when you lose your star player, if you don't have like a like for like instant replacement, you're going to hit a bit of a fall off. So I'm thinking similar
I mean,
to what we saw with Squishy after leaving Cloud9, the Torment and Gimmick duo. I don't think Hawks and Chicago are as bad as they were relative to the time, but I think they need to build their way back up with the unknown quantity of Kofor.
I'm, yeah, but this team's lineage has well, as you like to yammer on about how this team's lineage has when it has the cases of losing star players and of course getting less of talent wise, of course it working better playstyle wise.
Yeah.
Daniel and Hoxer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Lineage wise, I think Hoxer and Chicago SSG ended last season as I think quite clearly the second best team in NA with the dreadful worlds Gen G had.
Yeah.
Uh, I think they've been quite underrated because Kofa, he's no LJ, but he's shown his talent. I feel like it's one of the probably he will have space to do what he wants on with Vista, and I think that's quite exciting. Fireburner as coach, I think he's a bit of an unknown quality as a coach. As he had a mixed time on V1, I'd say, and he wasn't able to perform a miracle on NRG. But then again, I don't think any coach would have taken that NRG roster to the next level in
Yeah.
2024.
Yep.
But
So
yeah, that's my thoughts on
what about Vision
Vision.
Esports? This is it's not going to be Vision Esports to my knowledge. I know you're probably referring to the Dr. Known, Nush, and Tox trio.
Yeah,
So
I think is it not Vision? Am I being stupid?
no, you're not. So right now, Dr. Known and Nush are signed to Vision Esports, which is why a lot of people think it's going to be there. But I believe there was something from Achilles that said they're going to be signed to an organization and it's not going to end up being Vision. So there's a good chance we'll know by the time that this video actually releases because we're recording this quite literally like a week in advance. But yeah, I'm assuming you're definitely not stupid for having this as Vision. I believe a lot of people are viewing it the same way.
Well, I don't actually know much about this team. I haven't watched a lot of tape on ROC. There were I don't saw my biggest blind spot of last season. But if what I've heard about them are true, I've heard a lot of Ocala comparisons coming out for Dr. No, saying he's like a modern day Ocala playstyle wise, and I've
Hmm.
heard good things about Nash. Now that is my source on Mina definitely comes from Shift Discord, where seeing half of them are Mina fanatics, even though there's only the Mina's just a weird region, man. I mean, the 10th best player is just like a champ two at most, you know?
Yeah, Mina's got some really high end talent, but also just one of the biggest fall offs after that, which,
Yeah.
I mean, North America's one to talk, unfortunately. But
I
yeah,
mean, it's even worse there because at least you have. Like, you're never going to see, like, Dignitas in winter 22, 23. You're never going to see that sort of, like, run in Mina.
yeah,
And that's partially just due to the amount of major spots, but, you're never going to see. Like, I'd call it undeserving when they're not the talent level that I see would suggest,
hmm, yeah.
or skill level, or whatever.
All
But
right.
yeah, Tox, he's solid. He's going to make this team consistent. I think he's going to be. I think such a massive drop off means that this team is going to be a pretty comfortable third, I reckon, in Mina. I'm going to be contesting for that last chance qualifier spot.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if Tox can get it done there. Do you think? I think, at least personally, this is a much better chance to overtake Mina 2 than trying to sneak into a European spot. Even with the lineup that Tox had with it was Atomic and Raziers before they ended up splitting. I think this is a much better chance for Tox to be making lands. But yeah, I think
I mean,
is
personally, I think Tox has found. Personally, I think Tox has found brand new ways to miss majors by one spot. If
it's
you
also
ask
true.
me, but hey,
Yeah, unfortunately, he might be doing it in a new region now. So
worldwide missing regionals by one spot.
yeah.
A virtuoso will be cooling.
On to number 17. We've got this is insane.
Oh,
This is insane. All right, SSG across the board. Thank you for putting us higher than Mina 3. I do appreciate it. Um,
that's
I
Mina free, like. Being a four, bro. I mean, you're running into them in like GC1 lobbies, bro. It's quite
That's also true.
concerning.
That's also true. But yeah, I'm
Like,
aware of how red my list looks as of this moment with 3 North
I
America
mean,
teams. But I
yeah,
promise that's because unfortunately I can't put too many higher than this. I believe the Space Station team has the biggest potential to improve throughout the season and move higher on this list. But until we start to see those results in the RLCS, I got to keep them down here.
yeah. Unfortunately for my current Twitter agenda, they have actually been playing somewhat well when I do rate reveal. And
Yeah,
Frosty's decent. I can still call Scribbles bad though. I mean, he hasn't been impressing me as much. So I mean, I get to keep that part of the agenda. But unfortunately, they have been looking decent. I still will not tolerate any liquid comparisons. But hey,
I
maybe
think.
maybe one day I'll tolerate being compared to I don't know, 2.5 men. Something like that.
I mean, I know initially it's like there were a lot of queso comparisons, which is a much,
Queso comparisons.
no offense to your favorite team of
I
all
mean, we made
time,
one.
it's a higher bar comparing them to queso than it is to liquid. And I think the SSG guys themselves, like when they were still snowmen, were like, yeah, we see more along the path of Team Liquid. They do have to start winning events to really get to that level, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
they've,
Well, the key difference was Liquid was a good team.
well, jury's still out, in my opinion. But the point is like no matter who you're going to compare them to, it's still very early in their story, and you know
Yeah.
you can make comparisons, but at the end of the day, they're still the comparisons to what once was really good. So
I mean, yeah, I feel like these boys have grown hype, especially Frosty and Balls. Reveal's been playing his heart out recently.
yeah,
Um, I think that they're gonna make some upsets both ways. I feel like as much as I hate to say that for your sake, they're going to miss some top eights. They're going to miss at least one.
I'm
Right?
fully
That
expecting it.
I've
Unfortunately, yeah, you're right.
like, my current expectation is TSM from last season, but a bit better, if you know what I mean. Like, I feel like there's a lot of comparisons to be made. A lot of people are hyping Hebro or TSM. I call those people stupid, but unfortunately, these guys have been doing somewhat well, so I have to.
uh, Yeah, I think
I have to respect it.
there's definitely a middle ground between Hey to TSM last season and Team Liquid comparisons. I don't think they're gonna be as
Yeah, I
bad
mean,
as Hey
it's
was
like
last year because I think Space Station,
99% of the way towards Habro and 1% Team Liquid, I reckon,
yeah,
on the
but
spectrum.
I do think that I honestly didn't. I can't remember in the rankings if Snowman ended up finishing above TSM, but it had to have been close. So
Like, you finished no, because they missed every top eight except for on top eight, or top eight, I mean top four. I'll check the rankings.
yeah, I'm gonna pull it up on live right now. Might as well.
Yeah, we'll see who races who gets there first. Uh,
Rankings, North America
oh, Snowman did finish higher than TSM.
by 2 points. Hey, count it, count it. So we'll probably do better than Hey in then comparison, but still,
Yeah,
Liquid's a high
I
bar.
imagine so.
So we'll see.
Liquid is a very high bar, the greatest team to ever touch the game. Undoubtedly, no doubt in my mind about it.
Yeah,
They may
those
not have the results, but
moving to 16. Omelet and Shopify Rebellion. Okay, this one I don't know if either of us are gonna like what the other picked here. So
uh, Omelette, I feel weird on picking because, as I said, as I alluded to earlier, Neil had a few words with me about how I talked about his team.
yeah,
Now, if you've seen on Reddit, I may have complained about this team sticking, but look, on the face of it, it is a well. What was I think they ended the points ranking wise in ninth, not too far off from they're
yeah,
not too far off from the bigger boys like your MATs or Shopify's. Um, I feel like they could. I really do rate Zanil. I know I mentioned him a few times, but I do actually genuinely rate the guy. I think he's quite good.
made it
Uh,
to
but I don't think Omelette can be put this high above like Hoxha, Chicago, Kofa, and even SSG because like there is a chance that they improve, but I'm not. I'm wouldn't bet on them as much as I hate Stefan. If they could, I mean, there's a world where they go crazy, but I wouldn't bet on it.
yeah. So I think the logic here for me is that we actually saw a decent amount like when it came to teams contending for that final land spot in North America and the second split. You had Space Station or Snowmen at the time. You had Omelet, and then you had Rebellion actually as well. But the main
Yeah, of course they made up tiebreaker, lost in glory fashion.
yep. The main thing that I've got in my mind is that this Omelet or Cloud9 squad finished above Snowman in the rankings. Yes, Snowman did win the head to head in the quarterfinal, but I think they were more consistent. And then honestly, like I wish we had been able to see during that offseason 3v3 open how they matched up against NRG because I know the current Snowman Space Station roster took NRG to game 5 in that lower bracket run. But Omelet did as well. And I don't believe the Omelet one was streamed anywhere, but Chief Beef was able to show us the Space Station Gaming one. And so while we do have like we have the tape for being able to watch Space Station on that, we don't for Omelet, and they got basically the same results in that open. So I'm
Yeah,
kind of holding,
quick
but
shout on
yeah,
oh, there you go. You go.
no. So I'm like kind of holding Omelet above Space Station just slightly, but like first drop of a hat, I'm moving Space Station above them. So
Well, of course you are, mate.
yeah, no doubt. But Shopify
Yeah.
Rebellion, it's 16. I'm curious about this.
Quickly.
Yeah,
Chief Beef, suing Chief Beef. Shout out Matty, one of his moderators, constantly on shift, good guy. Except he
nice.
is prone to censorship, I'm afraid. So, that work on that, but always good guy. Shout out him. So yeah, moderator, good guy. Yeah.
Nice. I'm curious
Sorry.
about Rebellion here.
Sorry, that's stupid. Yeah, Rebellion. So what do you think of Rebellion at the moment?
Yeah. I am very Very worried. I'm gonna just go ahead and spoil that I don't have them on my list at all.
Ooh.
I
Okay,
personally,
Gen G?
yeah, with Gen G on
Bummy
there too.
G?
Yeah. So
Bummy B? Mobile 1 basing?
yeah, I mean, you could say what you will about their performance at FIFA EU, right? But at the end of the day, like they stepped up, they flew there, they played. I think they had kind of similaring results. If we're gonna go back to the Shift Summer League, I'm pretty sure Gen G
A
or
Shopify.
RMC finished above them in the rankings. But my main worry for the
And
Shopify
also
Rebellion roster,
Nicky Tournament, though. I mean, they've got finished, didn't it?
what's that?
Sorry, Shift, but I mean, it's just true.
Yeah,
No, I can love you guys, Shift. Love you, Jens.
wish we'd finished that. But with Rebellion, like I forget who they lost. They lost to Alpha Cap in the beginning of that 3v3 open.
It happens, bro. It happens.
Yeah, it happens,
Like,
but
you know,
then
I
you
mean,
also get swept out of the tournament by SSG. This is a far cry from being one goal away from taking down OG and making the major. I'm worrying we're seeing a major regression, and I kind of hope I'm wrong because this was a team that I was going to predict to make land in the first split. But everything I've seen in the past like month of the offseason has led me to like stay far away from this team in predictions.
well, my thoughts on them are basically that, you know, they were the most. I think I'm happy to call them the most hot and cold team in NA last season.
Yeah.
Even more above, like, yeah, MAGs, which is crazy to say. But, you know, they had great Regional 1, fell off a cliff Regional 2, remained at the bottom of a cliff for Regional 3, bottom of second split to get themselves to a tiebreaker, and lost that tiebreaker in tragic fashion. So, but yeah, I think that average, if you take their colossal floor and colossal ceiling, I do think their ceiling is probably arguably like the third highest in NA, like even more than like other teams with crazy consistency issues, like for example, your complexity. So of course, I'd also describe as having a high ceiling.
Yeah.
But I think they can be. I think they could pop off.
That is fair. Yeah. And if they
But
do pop off,
yeah,
they'll move up, but they haven't been popping off recently is my concern. So,
yeah, two piece hasn't looked great, but I think Path has stepped up a little bit.
mhm.
I know a lot of people call it Path's head, and unjustifiably so in my opinion. I think Path is quite overhated.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. Shall we jump to 15?
yeah, let's jump on it.
All right. So, we got the rumored TSM roster. I think this was news of yesterday. Rumored TSM, which is the same as this New Gene squad. And then Dignitas here at
Yeah, let me change
15 as
mine for
well. So,
consistency.
yeah, you're good. I'll go ahead and color this in. I think that looks right. And then Dignitas at 15. Dignitas is playing in Europe. I believe that's been confirmed at this point.
Yeah, you're
Um, so
only the
I
third European or second European roster to come up.
yeah.
Atty.
So with TSM, I'll go ahead and speak on them since you've got them at 20. I've got them a little bit higher. I do believe that the contending teams from OCE could be very solid. Now, during the offseason, at least on paper, I believe that the Banana Head Fiber Hunter roster was going to end up being the best. Obviously, that has changed now with a
Yeah,
lot of the moves that we've seen. But this
I'm
Amphis
mad about
Locky
that.
Kaka roster has won like everything. So if there is going to be a strong team out of OCE right now, based on results, it's looking like it might be these guys. They're not the highest ranked OCE roster I have on here, but due to the fact that they have the results,
Ooh.
yeah, due to the fact that they have the results, I got to throw them up here, and hopefully they don't prove me completely wrong. So,
Yeah,
but
to kind of just reiterate what I said, my worry is that they're going to ground zero. 'Cause I know typically in OCE, when a team is dominant, they're actually pretty decent internationally. You know, like Power
yeah,
last season, other season before, and KCP Winter in 21-22. They're normally pretty good, but Ground Zero Gaming in the winter split of 22-23, like the one time they've been quite dominant and not actually, been very good internationally.
Yeah.
I worry, with 2/3 of the same roster, it's going to be the same situation here.
Hmm. I think that ground zero roster, it was Locky, Kaka, and I'm blanking on who the
Fiber,
other. It was Fiber. Okay.
fiber.
And so is Amphis an upgrade over Fiber? I think at least in terms of the experience and composure that I believe he would bring on land, especially
Like
compared to that ground zero
retrospectively,
then.
like compared
Yeah.
to the time, right now, yes, he is,
Yeah. So,
but not a massive one. He isn't like really upgraded.
mhm.
Fiber's always been quite good online. Recently started to translate that, in my opinion.
Yep. All right. And then Dignitas at 15. Curious about this one.
League of 15. Basically, my thoughts are Urius. Ironically, my thoughts on Urius going into Dig are the exact same thoughts as my thoughts on AJ when going into M80. The
Hmm.
best player on a mediocre team, Now,
Interesting.
I don't think Urius, I have him slightly above Nas in terms of best. Like, I know a lot of people, I think, underrate how good Nas was for that team. I think AJ is quite clearly the worst on that roster at the time, but I know, like, stats wise, Nas was by far and away the best, but in terms of just watching the game, I think Urius is crazy shooting and like good passing. I think barely slides him above Nas for me.
Hmm.
Jack, kind of the same sort of situation. How did she collapse? And he looked the only player who actually was still good at the end. Uh, has me paused to concern. And Stizzy is unproven quality.
Stizzy unproven quality. Okay. I'll talk
I
more on
feel like he
Dignitas
has
when I throw him up. But yeah,
top three.
I'll come back to that. So 14. I'll go ahead and jump that. I have the rumored wild card
Ooh,
roster, which is the old power roster, and you have complexity. Okay.
I do have complexity.
So yeah, this is the highest rated OCE roster I have, to say the least. This was a dominant team
Mine
of
is
last
slightly
year.
higher, interestingly enough.
Yours is higher. Wow. Okay. So yeah, this
Well, it's not
was
crazy high, like as in
well, yeah,
we're not going to be here very long before we see him.
yeah, not surprising, but yeah, with this roster being dominant in OCE last year, they ended up splitting, and then the Fever Torsauce duo with Gus have not had the best results, and truthfully, neither has Banana Head. So I think they're trying to reunite, recapture that. If I had to guess, but curious to see how that affects them. I'll hold them above this Amphis Locky Kaka roster that's been winning everything the offseason because RLCS results do mean more, but I'm curious to see who ends up being on top of OCE this year.
Yeah, same. Like Rosé John AK always had a really good take. Rosé is going to be one of the most interesting like talent things because OCE it's extraordinarily rare to see any imports.
Yeah.
Or I think it's quite interesting, compared to like the other regions that don't have access to servers with SSA and APAC. You very rarely see non. I think occasionally you see a few like APAC players come over and play an OCE, but
Mhm.
it's the easily the biggest name that's ever come into the region.
Yeah.
Um, so it's going to be interesting to like see how he stacks up compared to the rest of OCE.
Yeah. I don't have Razier's on this list or Razier's roster with Fiber and
Neither.
Hunter on this list, but they're definitely one of the ones that can move up depending on results. I just yeah, it's very unproven, and I really got to see it on the pitch first. So,
Yeah.
yep. And then complexity at 14. I'm surprised you have these guys lower than I do.
Lower. I was a lot lower on them for the 3v3 Open and like the Johnny Boy 2's event
Hmm.
because I thought, how you yeah, like a lot of people were quite excited when he complexly first announced Diaz. They thought, this is going to be the roster to take down Piero. This is going to be the roster to take Sam back with Spanish player
Yep.
on the team. kick Dorito and they do worse. Now, respect Dorito, but roster should have been better than it was.
Yeah.
But they have started to looking quite good recently, which I think is, because I think they're kind of in a similar position to SSC. I didn't rate him before the offseason, but my opinion of them has slightly gone up due to the offseason. I think CRI is very good. He's on my fantasy team, so I have to back my boy.
Yep, we're gonna slowly drift the rankings up depending on who we put on our fantasy team. Don't worry of who's I got.
My fantasy team's cold, by the way. I don't understand how people haven't been seeded. I mean, I have such a baller team, and people are saying that a team with a chronic on it is going to do better. Like, bro, I'm getting cooked.
He's roasting a chronic. Wow, this is tough days. Tough days.
No, I love the guy. But let's not act like he didn't have one good regional last season. It was the very last one.
That's true. All right. Jump into 13. We've got actually I have complexity here, apparently. Wild card. So we have swapped. Basically, yeah, the talking points with complexity, I was ready to lead the complexity hate train heading into this year. Like, in the same way that all of last season, I was like, guys, Rule 1 isn't any good. This Rule 1 squad is terrible. And, like, getting called an idiot for predicting Power to beat them in the Copenhagen Major. And then, lo and behold, exact prediction happens. I was so low on that Rule 1 roster, and I was completely expecting to be...
It's like he's out here. What a guy.
I was fully expected to be just as low on this complexity squad, but honestly, yeah, this offseason has started to sway things back. I'm starting to drop the moniker of like they got 5th in Sam in the second split, and starting to look at that more of look at that as more of a fluke, and they're going to return back to their normal. I've got these guys. I think I might have on 3rd North America. I can't remember if I have another team higher from North America on this list. So,
do I actually have a team higher than them? Oh, I do.
Okay,
I have an upcoming. I think you're going to be surprised by which team I have higher than them.
Okay. Considering, I think I might know what it is, but we'll definitely get to there. But yeah, I think we've discussed our wild card and complexity talking points. But let's jump to number 12. There's the North American team of Hawks Chicago Kofor. I have Team Secret out of South America, which is the
I know how good Swift is.
I'm drawing a complete. It's KV1, Mata, and Swift. So
yeah, I feel like I have a feeling Mata's going to level up next season. I have him higher.
I hope he does, personally.
But I think we touched on Hawks Chicago Kofor earlier. I feel like Kofor's no LJ, but he's gonna have all the space he wants,
Yeah. If Kofor is, I think Kofor's actually in a position where he could be like the highest rising stock the fastest this season. And I say that with a squad like SSG getting a lot of eyes on them. But this Kofor's in a phenomenal spot where if Hawks and Chicago play to the same level that they were playing last year and Kofor really gels with them, then we're going to be talking about Kofor as like a staple in North America pretty much instantly. So it really depends on what he shows. But yeah, surprised you have him this high. But then again, it is 2/3 of the roster that was second in NA at the end of last season.
Top 18.
Yep.
Well, I didn't notably call that SSG roster the biggest gatekeeper team in Rocket League, but hey.
Hey, we were for a bit.
Well, yeah, we did what, boss? I mean, look, they were never going to do better than Swiss round 5 or top 8, you know? Like, but they are losing the second they get a team that is worthy of making top 4, you know?
Mm-hmm. You're talking world stage with that, yeah.
Did SSG last season get upset a single time?
I think we did. Our worst loss was genuinely Rebellion in the last event of the year.
Yeah.
So.
You actually moved to Rebellion.
Yeah. We were. I think that's the only loss that we had all season that was to a team that didn't make lane. I was ready to
because in the last regional, Rebellion beat Luminosity in the quarterfinals.
It was Swiss round 1.
Semis. What? Oh, round 1.
Yes.
Oh, right, yeah.
It was Swiss round 1. It was our only loss to a team that didn't make lane. So
I mean, I think that's not a big upset, really, though, isn't it? So they're
it's
not
not.
bad then.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so gatekeeper team.
yep, a little bit. But
I
all
didn't
right.
lose in round one. I lost in round three. Christ, remember your team last. Did you come on that?
Was it 3? Was it round 3? I was used to
Round three.
I guess
You
it would have
played
been, yeah.
Spate, LG. Yeah, I have a look video open right now. You beat Spate, beat LG, lost to Shopify, beat Dig.
Okay. That makes a bit more sense. They
I
had
thought
more
you were the
results.
SSD fan here. Because of Wikipedia. Right?
Yep. But all right, let's jump number 11. We got Dignitas and Geekay. Okay. So you've got Dignitas at 15. I've got them at 11. Um, I'm blanking on who you would have above Geekay, but or maybe I know. Anyways, Geekay is a European roster now. That's the North American color. So both these are European rosters. That's weird. Okay. For Dignitas, you called Stizzy. What's that?
Stizzy, Joris, Jag.
Yeah, Stizzy Dorius Jack. You called Stizzy an unproven quantity. I'm a little bit surprised by
I
that.
think that's what bad word is. I feel like he has potential, but
Yeah,
he hasn't shown. You know, I feel like I still don't know what Dig was smoking when they brought him of all players over to NA. Like, that is genuinely contender for the most random roster move of all time.
that was a little bit interesting, like in terms of
It is
out
a
of
bit boss.
nowhere.
It wasn't even the best player on the team, and they get Stizzy of all players to go to North America to play for Arsenal and Evo.
I think Stizzy's been one of those players for a while that's been had a lot of mechanical talent and not always either the best mentality or the best game sense. And I think pairing him with Jack is going to be pretty lethal. I mean, this team competed with Stizzy, Appjack, and then Mutzer at the Flip and Spin event and lost to Carmine
I'm
Course
worried about the
6 to
defense, though.
and 6. Yeah, the defense could be a concern. I do feel like with and this is going to sound very much like how we talked about Reddles 2 years ago, but like the leadership of apparently Jack is going to help this roster. And,
I
you know,
don't believe in the leadership of Jack anymore. Like before, when Genji was announced, do you remember what it was like when Genji was announced? Like a certain someone was saying that they wouldn't be as good as everyone thought, and do you remember that?
I
What's up?
were you a Gen G hater from the start from last season?
No, the day one, I was like, oh my god, but they wouldn't have very good defense, and they didn't, and I was right, and everyone else was wrong.
Wow.
So
Props.
as it typically is, no.
Uh,
God, I've gone for so many tangents this thing. I'm
yeah.
myself. I'm never getting invited onto this channel ever again.
No, you're good. You're good. Um, but yeah, Geekay, I want to talk a little bit about them. So this is
I
go ahead.
Oh, Archie, Joyo, and Oli.
Yeah.
I think Oli's good. Archie, the thing is, these are three players I'm worried about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Archie, hit worlds, but he's famous for just for the last like end of last season, right? Remember, 22-23, you had Yoris, Archie, Ixa, right?
Yeah.
Potentially the most boring team in just terms of the names at the time to ever grace the pitch of Rocket League, right? And
Yep.
Archie was essentially their only good player at Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he did that when he comes in and he gets with Osti and Eeks still on the team, right? And I was like, okay, they could even make major, right? But somehow Archie played worse than Eeks, split one,
Yep.
right? Osti was the only reason the team ever did anything. Right, then they get Gyro and Archie looks revitalized, right? And Gyro, I don't think plays as well as people were expecting him to.
Mm-hmm.
So my concern is if Archie goes back to, as I put it, bumming it up, then I don't think he's gonna. I don't think this team is up for gonna do amazing things. But if they have a scary peak, which is of course always a good thing to have. Oli and Joy were a pretty good duo. The start of last season's Moist.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is quite similar to that Oxygen team that Archie and Oli played on.
Yeah.
And of course, that team went to the gutter after they kicked Oli for Rise. Made sense at the time, but still, with hindsight, probably shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. That was I forgot. This is Archie and Oli reteaming again. back on oxygen. Yeah.
And he was going to go team with he was going to go team with Ioria, so it was a
Yep.
full
Oh
on
yeah, the
reunion.
Jorioli duo. Yep. That this offseason has been wild. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
Archie is like a more vocal Mist. Not in terms of like anything we see on the pitch, but in terms of like attitudes about the game. Because the meme with Mist for a long time is that he only puts 20 hours in, and then it eventually caught up with him. If Archie puts the hours in, he's a great player, but he almost brags about not putting the hours in. And so it really depends on how motivated Archie is throughout the season. I think if he is, this team could definitely swing into the top 4 of Europe. But if he's not, then yeah, I'm expecting outside looking in. So
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a tight. I think there's an obvious two teams which, after split two last season, I can't say anyone's safe, but there should be a safe two teams going to these majors, you know?
yes, yeah,
And I think it's a bit back between GK and two other teams for who is going to get those other two spots. Like, I have one which I think is a bit of a neck and shoulders ahead of the others, but they can easily not make it. I wouldn't be massively surprised to see any combination of these teams. I mean, I'd be a bit surprised if a third French team doesn't make it, but I don't think it's impossible.
yeah. All right, I'm gonna jump to number 10. We got Twisted Minds doubled up. All right,
Is that our third double?
I think it is. Yeah, we
Games?
had Redemption, SSG, and now Twisted Minds. So this is pretty safely Mina 2 by both of our estimations, I assume.
Yeah, I'm worried about this team's defense, but then again, they're playing against Champ 2s. They'll be fine.
Accurate. My biggest question is, are they going to be able to take a regional off Falcons? I think eventually it'll happen, but I think it's going to be 5-1
think
in
they take
favor of
one.
Falcons. Yeah,
I predict. Yeah, I think they take one. I need to call it right now. If they take regional 5.
I could see that a lot, especially considering the middle regional is the one that normally matters the least and has the most chaos in terms of like that's the one that V1.
Right, I was talking to someone about what the most boring regional of the open areas, and all of the candidates were the middle regional.
Yep, that's when it's always ironic that every single time NRG had like a run and had their best results, it was always the middle regional. Every single time.
Yeah,
It's the
spring
one
regional
with the
two
least
in both
pressure.
2022 and 2023 they popped off.
Yeah. It's the one when V1 failed to make Boston. That's the regional they won as well. Like it's quite literally
I'm
just
still mad about that. And
the least important one.
they sent Optic and not V1.
We set our region back years with that, but
I still think that V1 roster. I really wish that they'd I wish they'd made it over Optic and like you kick I know Fury out for GT. I think NA actually does respectably at Boston, but hey, we're not here to talk about the past because I could gather on about that split for NA for ages. I mean,
yeah, I feel like we
you
all
want to know
could.
about the trivia?
What's that?
Okay, you know what I memed? I've in the past I've memed SSG
Mhm.
first out of a region as the top seed without winning a regional.
Yeah,
Did you know that's not actually true? There has been one team coming out of a region being the top seed without having won a regional.
I have no idea.
It is Detonator from the 21-22
Oh, I guess it
Wigan
would have
Major.
been, yeah, because they just squeaked by in the APAC qualifier.
Yeah, they weren't even meant to be in the like APAC playoff tournament thing,
Hey,
but they squeaked in
that was a
because the
phenomenal
actual
story.
second seed couldn't make it.
From that to
And
taking
then
a
they
game
took a
off
game of
phase.
phase. That
Yeah.
is genuinely one of the most underrated stories in RL.
Yep, that was crazy. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and reveal number 9. I got Geek up here. You've got Gentlemates down here. Okay. I'm starting to feel like
Yeah,
I'm
I
forgetting
made
a
a
team.
last second change. At first, I had Twisted Minds over them, but I made a last second change.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh, you had
Seiko
Twisted
has
Minds
been playing
over
really
them.
well recently. I'm disappointed that it isn't Itachi Seiko Oski.
Yeah, me too.
Like Seiko Oski offense, bro. Like,
Yeah.
brother, like, give it to me.
I think that would have
But
been
anyway,
my clear 3 EU if that roster had formed.
yeah, especially because you're taking away. Do you end up with if that happens? Do you end up with I don't know like some form of a juicy Redothan Nass team, maybe.
Possibly.
Right, look, my thoughts are juicy. We all know how well he played at Copenhagen, but I haven't seen that from him since
Yeah.
or before. You know, he played out of his mind, but still, he needs to find a way to get that fire back in him if his team's going to do well.
Yeah.
Because I think it's interesting to have more of a support player. Like I think what we're trying to do is get Seiko a bit more involved in the offense because I think Seiko was quite clearly the go-to defender on this team, and we've seen on BDS and even going back to Endpoint how crazy this guy can be on the ball. So I think getting Seiko back into like the more of an offensive swing of things could be really good, but I'm not sure if it's worth sacrificing Itachi for.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting that this roster is like the major MVP was Juicy, the MVP of Europe was Itachi, but the one they chose to rebuild around is Seiko. Like all three of them have a very, you know, have a very high
Well,
ceiling from what we've seen. But yeah, I think they got
I
the
think MVP was very fraudulent. To be honest, I think it should have been Zen.
for
If they win
Copenhagen.
no,
I
it's
guess
a
so, yeah.
regional MVP. And they win no regionals. But what? Like, I'd rather them give them to Vatiro and give it to Zen.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vatiro and Itachi. Give him Vatiro's third one. Come on now.
I was a little bit
Uh,
surprised by the phrasing because it seemed like they weren't going to include land results in that MVP voting, but how do you give it to Itachi if you're not? But
yeah.
aside from that, yeah, I think I'm hoping that
There's always
the
though.
I'm hoping the fact that Juicy was chosen here with the mates roster kind of inspires them to be decent. But honestly, we'll have to see. These guys are teetering on the edge. I don't know if I have them at 8. I know I have them very soon. Um, but yeah, these guys, in my opinion, are definitely the most in danger to miss out on that land spot. So
Yeah. I mean, look, they were the ones. I think I'm still going to give them a tiny bit of credit. Like Radosin had a
mhm.
fine worlds. I'm going to give him a bit of slack because Alpha. Well, we all know how fall off of Alpha
Yeah, that was
has been well
unfortunate.
documented. I'm going to give him a little bit of slack, for
Mhm.
that. But again, in fairness, I don't think Itachi played that well at Worlds either. I think Seiko was clearly the best on that team at Worlds, in the mates roster. I mean,
Mhm.
uh, as I said, if they're trying to give more chances to use Radosin's great playmaking to give Seiko and GT more chances, I think that can work pretty well. But again, I think I'd rather them if they're even going to implement Rado, I think I'd rather them keep still kick out Juicy and give Itachi, Seiko, Rado a try.
Yeah. All right. I'll jump on to number 8 because we might be a little bit redundant in some of the talking points. We are.
Oh wait, no,
Um,
we didn't hear you.
oh, did I not explain Geekay?
Oh yeah, you didn't explain Geek here. I'm really
Okay.
sorry.
No, you're good.
You've
We
done it
talked a
wrong
little
so
bit
often.
about Geekay a little bit. I guess I'm
This is when
surprised
to
by
pull
your
up a
secret
sound
rating,
again.
to be honest. But no.
Nah, Swift is crazy. KV1 is crazy. Motta, I think he's gonna pop off. I think we're getting back 22-23 Motta.
Oh,
I think that there's a genuine chance that they take Sam one from Fiero, in my opinion. Like, I don't think it's impossible at all.
all right. I would look forward to that for one. But yeah, with Swift, I've been high on him a lot as well. I keep saying he was Diaz before Diaz was Diaz. Everyone's been looking for the next Yan in South America. Swift was that guy. Hasn't made land just yet. I truly believe this is the roster he's going to do it with. Um,
Yeah,
but
I
I,
don't, I don't, I don't see any combination of players in Sam that can realistically. Well, with who's left, I don't think there's any realistic combination. Plus, it all seems quite fractured right now. You had what we thought was a clear third in that Knight, Swift, Knights, Wisty, Bems roster, but they've
they
splitting up.
split. Yeah. Now it's like Astramic Bems and Suko. And I've not heard of Suko until this offseason. So curious to see what he does on the pitch as well. Um,
I'm making some decent jokes. I'll be making some decent Suko jokes on the shift with it, in
uh,
fairness.
I'll go back and touch on Kike a little bit because I kind of missed that at the 9 spot. Yeah, it does depend on Archie's hours, and I've got them right beneath Gentlemates for that very reason, where it's like it can very easily be interchangeable depending on how mates perform. With mates, I do honestly want to trust the roster building a little bit because I think there were a lot of people last offseason that were like, oh, this is just the leftover squad. This isn't like, the desirables, etc. And they got kind of slept on. I think in a lot of initial predictions, they, you know, even myself when they were going into land didn't predict them to make the top 8. And lo and behold, they were
Oxygen.
still good. So,
Okay. Wait, sorry, can you repeat the last one? Do you mean
yeah.
based on Geek Air, we're talking about Gentlemen?
Oh,
You
yeah.
didn't
No.
have them making top 8?
I kind of drifted into talking about Gentlemates because I trust, like,
Okay,
no, you're good. With last season, it ended up being like all France at the top, but Gentlemates was the one roster that I think people slept on the most because of that whole leftovers moniker. And I feel like they're getting a little bit of that again this offseason. And I don't want to fall into the trap where they end up being phenomenal and they know something that we don't. But with
yeah,
GK,
I think that's very possible to have to acknowledge with these Gentlemen.
yeah, but with GK, I have them like at least on paper chomping at the bit. I feel like if it falls apart and Archie doesn't put in the hours, then it's going to be a lot less likely. But if we see the world's version of Archie, and then I also have an immense amount of respect for Oli, I think he's been consistently underrated. I think this GK roster could definitely pass Gentlemates. So
yeah. On to number 7.
Yep, I think we probably have the same teams in the top 7 at this point.
Ooh.
Wow, I am for one surprised I have this squad lower than you do. You are not high on this Furia squad, then, from the looks of it. I know you were just talking about Secret overtaking them, but Furia at 7.
I feel like I have basically the same thoughts on them. I think they're about the same strength wise. I predict they'll be about the same strength wise. And I think Furia, I don't want to say they're going to fall off, but I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last season. I feel like my issue with Furia is I think a lot of people overrate them because they want that international like diversity thing, you know.
I think that's fair, yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of stupid people have had Falcons Furia finals in the past, which
I don't think Furia
no,
makes it to
that's not going to
finals in this
happen.
day and age yet.
Yeah, I think Furia is an A tier team, but a lot of people like to call S tier for no reason.
It's for the 4 region, you're right. And I think honestly, some of their Swiss results are also a little bit surprising. Like in both majors, it was a 4-team 2-0 round because Furia started out 2-0 in the Swiss. Now sometimes they would nearly get reverse swept through that Swiss, then they would drop down and then take advantage of Redosin being sick and make a semifinal. But I do feel like this team has had
that series live was crazy. Shout out with Pops. I was watching that series live with him in the venue. That was chill.
Oh, that had to be so fun.
But then Arsenal walked up to us. I'll tell you that story another time.
All right. But yeah, I don't have them this low. I probably have them 6 to be honest. But yeah, I don't think they're the world contending team that a lot of people want them to be just yet. And I'm curious if this team Secret Squad can overtake them. So
I'm curious if you try and make a roster move, try and poach KV1 or Swift.
I could see that happening too. It depends on the pocketbooks of both orgs. I know Fury is probably more invested in South American Rocket League than Team Secret is, so it could definitely happen.
Secret because a lot of orgs of their size seem to be leaving, but they've actually been sticking around for a while now.
Yeah,
they've been in since what 21-22 winter, I want to say.
I think so. Maybe even before that, just slightly. But yeah, they've stuck around for. Oh wait, no, it would have been Noble before that. You're right, but they've stuck around for quite a bit. I think they have that similar to how we're seeing TSM going to get one of the best 2 OCE teams. They've got the second SAM team on lock. Essentially, there's no reason for them to leave. So, but still, props for staying because that's not always going to stop people. All right, I'm jumping to number 6. Or wait, no, I got to talk about LJ first. Killer Chronic first. I keep skipping over my rankings. I need to see this team win in RLCS events. Truth be told. I know they just won the offseason 3v3 Open. Props. I'm excited for what that can mean. I need to see LJ break the barrier of winning an event. I think once he does that, it's time to fly. But until he does, this is very clearly the second best team in North America for me. Results of an off-season tournament be damned. But yeah, I'm excited for what this team could do, but got to start them off here and give them room to rise. So
yeah. I have them coming up soon, so I'll give my thoughts on them then. So,
all right,
are you on to number 6?
on to number 6. Yep, JF Kron. Got him flipped. Not
Another
surprised.
just swab.
Yep.
Another just swab, which is fun.
That's the wrong
Mate,
color.
you keep doing the wrong color for Furia.
I know, that's on me. That's on me. All right. So
JF Kron.
Your thoughts?
I'm trying to make this a thing. Are these? I when the duo was announced on Shift, everyone's calling him JFK duo, which that's a fun.
Yeah.
But now Chronic's there. Come on, man. I think they're going to be good. I touched on this a lot on the Bel Air podcast I did. Go watch that if you haven't. Shameless plug. But my thoughts are, look, it's on. I think the mistakes of Genji they're not insurmountable. Sad Junior is a perfect coach to do that. I hope so. I mean, for all we know, he's just behind and sitting behind and just begging and just praying LJ peaks. I'd like to think he's a good coach,
Yeah.
But no, I think Sad Junior is quite good. I think they have a perfect case study of Genji to look at and just go, okay, what went wrong? How can we fix it? I think LJ is also much more. I think he's a much better fit than Jack was, with how they play defense, especially.
Yeah, I do think with this roster, it was basically LJ has the keys, and I think if LJ's your general manager much more than first killer, it makes a lot of sense that they pick Chronic, and it installs a little bit more faith. Truth be told, I don't think LJ is the only one with keys. I think from what I've seen, LJ trusts Sad Junior to help lead his teams. Like would have been shocked if Sad Junior wasn't the coach for this squad, and if he wasn't, it would have led me to believe the first killer was in charge. I don't think first killer is in charge. I think that's going to be crucial. I think, I have a lot of respect for Sad Junior. I don't believe his coaching strategy is pray that LJ peaks, because that wasn't a strategy that was even in the realm of possibility when he took over coaching for Space Station Gaming. So I think they ended up, a large part of why LJ has had the success is the facilitation of his teammates that has been, a staple with Hoxer all of last year and the season before. And then both Arsenal and Chicago fit into that scheme well. But yeah.
Yeah. Touching on what you said earlier, Sad Junior, I remember reading somewhere, I think it was an interview with him, but he was essentially the main guy pushing to get Hoxer after they lost Daniel. So
yeah, he was.
Of course, worked out.
They interviewed him before the Boston Major, I believe, and he was saying Hoxer's a grinder. We want this guy. Yep, and couldn't have been more right. So yeah.
Well, it could have been more right. Who knows? Maybe Cheese would be better.
Could have. I think it would have been more inconsistent, but it's hard to argue with the results that we ended up seeing. So
yeah, definitely.
All right, I'm jumping to 5. Let's see. We should have the same top 5 then as well. No surprise that we have the same team here. Ninjas in Pajamas. This is our EU3, which personally
I can easily see them being less of that. Like, I know there's a lot of hype around Nass at the moment, but I think I'm scared that he's going to be one of those players who always pops off in the off-season tournaments and never can translate it into RLCS. But I'm willing to give him a second chance. As I said, I don't believe M80 was really his fault. I mean, I wouldn't call the fault on any single player, but I think that's more of a team issue. But he definitely came out of that. And he of course had the great off-season winning Salt Mine 4, which people are going to be annoying about. He's good. Like I know people who rate ones a lot and judging talent unfairly, in my opinion. So, I believe.
Yeah,
I think at the very least they could be quite good. I think Sorry.
No, you're good. Um,
For this. Oh no, you go. You go.
all right, yeah. To jump in, I like both Oski and Itachi. I think that's a deadly
Yeah.
combination. We were talking about how if Gentlemates had gone Seiko and those two, they'd be a comfortable three. I think this will be a slightly worse version with Nas instead of Seiko, but I do think that
Yeah.
somehow these guys come out ahead in the offseason when it looked like they weren't going to have the same pick. Um,
Yeah.
Originally, it was looking like it was going to be
Alpha.
Alpha, and I'm kind of glad they moved off that and moved towards NAS because I do believe
I
NAS has
found I
got a better
if Alpha
future.
is playing next season, I don't think it's possible for him to have like a Seiko style resurgence because you know
Yeah.
how BDS after winning Worlds the first time they really struggled and
Hmm.
then until they eventually brought him Rise. I don't think it's impossible for that to happen with Alpha, Redosin, or even Zen, with a little bit of a step down Zen has taken since then.
Yeah. But yeah, I got these guys comfortably fifth in the world, comfortably third in Europe. Unfortunately, I still have them closer to four than I do to two, but I'll be shocked if these guys aren't on
Yeah,
one.
I
So,
think Europe is should be clear cover. Like my prediction next season is I think two teams are going to dominate. I think the two best European teams are going to be the two best teams in the world quite clearly by the end of the season. I feel like we're going to get a domination season from those two.
oh, I hope not. So, all right,
I said,
let's
don't worry, guys. Reveal will save us.
resume. We got it. We got it. All right, moving to four.
Yeah, no,
Um,
but one final thing.
yeah.
Like I said earlier, I think you're taking the best player from Oxygen or
Mhm.
Oxygen.
Yeah.
Itachi, who I'm willing to call his Worlds and EWC performance just a small blip.
Yeah.
I'll call it a blip for now. And Nass, who I think is going to play a great all round glue role, who can of course whip out some crazy mechs when the situation calls for it. I think they want to put. I do fear that if Nash doesn't perform, I think he's going to get kicked rather unceremoniously if his team doesn't do well at
Oh,
first.
yeah. I could see that. I just don't see them underperforming enough to make that happen, I guess. So,
Yeah.
all right. On to the top
All right.
four.
Well, on to number four.
This is like I'd argue this is
I think we all
tournament
have the
calendar.
same 3 and 4. I think we'll have the same 3 and 4 and the same 1 and 2.
I don't. So I'm curious. Number four.
Oh
Wow.
no.
Okay, we got the same four.
Oh.
I
Okay.
I'm shocked
I
by
think we
this.
should have the same three then.
I hated oh they're not a blue team. I'm dumb. Um I hated putting them this low. Like this is a team that made every single
Same.
final of last year and I hated putting them this low. But
Same.
like
Here's my issue, right?
yeah.
Off-season open, they don't perform very well.
Yep.
And if you remember G2 before the 2024 season, they were crazy. Like all three of them were looking insane. They won the solo queue thing. Daniel won Salt Mine 3 in NA.
Mhm.
They came second in the Oxygen Invitational somehow.
Oxygen Invitational was pain.
They were winning. They won one of the draw tournaments,
Mhm.
but they were doing well. As in the main reason that it wasn't even an argument because on paper, going into the season, if you hadn't watched the off season, Genji would have been clear of G2, but because they'd done so well in the off season, it was now back into a conversation.
Yeah.
But I'm really worried about Atomic. I feel like getting farmed by Monkey Moon 3 seasons in a row has to hurt a man.
Mhm.
I've been
Yeah.
eliminated 3 consecutive times, which I think is some sort of record. As I said, I don't think they've been playing particularly well. And the off-season tournament, I think Daniel was struggling. I don't think Beast Mode had it. I don't think Beast Mode was playing very well at Worlds. Of course, Beast Mode hasn't attended your EWCs or FIFA,
Yeah.
which worries me a bit mentality-wise.
I would say it worries me mentality wise, but I do believe he's if anyone's gonna find the balance and bounce back, it'll be him. There was the time where he was on
Yeah.
Shopify Rebellion, where he played one event and then dipped, just hated the team mentality, quit on the team.
Get rid of Rapid.
He was
Respect.
he went to focus on basketball, I believe was like in the statement. And I mean, at least it led to him cooking Asphora in the solo queue event. But truth be told, like I don't think basketball, like professional level basketball, is in the future for Beast Mode. I think he wanted to get out of the situation he was in. And then when he came on to V1, yes, it took a little bit, but they ended up winning an event, and he looked phenomenal at lands ever since. So honestly,
So what you're saying is Aqua's going to be crazy next season.
Aqua's taking a little bit too much time off for basketball than Beast Mode has, in fairness. But I'm really liking, like, I think if there's anyone who's going to be like, okay, I can get back into the game and keep grinding and still be phenomenal, it would be Beast Mode. Like, we've seen it before. I believe we could see it again. So I'm not really worried about his downturn in performance at Worlds. But yeah, I think a large part of this as well is that I'm hitting the mic. Nice. A large part of this is that, like, we have very consistently seen, like, if teams stick together heading into the next season, it hasn't always ended the best, and there's normally a downturn in results. I'm a little bit worried about that. I think they'll still make every single final, especially in North America for the start. But once they get to LAN, I think that's the big test for this team. And if they can move back up to that really number 2 or even number 1 spot that they once had.
Yeah, I have to agree. I don't think they'll be one. I don't think they'll win the LAN. I think they're going to keep the final streak split 1. Until the major. I think they're going to lose in the semis or the quarters.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a bit like Vitality in Major 1, where it's like, where they're going to have a moment where it's like, oh my god, they're back, we're the best team in the world, and then they're just going to get, flattered by, the 3 teams who I'd be surprised if, we have the same 3 teams in the top 3, just the same order. Because
we definitely do, yeah.
I'm never talking to you again if we don't have the same teams, because you'd be insane.
Yeah, no, not that desperate for clicks, but let's see how desperate for clicks I am and reveal number 3.
Oh, nah, you're mad. You're mad.
All right,
I gotta get rid of this.
I probably have some explaining to do.
You're Falcons top 2.
I have Falcons top 2. Yeah, I am.
You're mad, man.
I'll talk about Falcons later. Carmine Core. I'm aware that they came out with flying colors and won the Flip and Spin tournament. I'm aware, like, they have Drawley. They're looking great. I'm hyped for this Carmine Core team. I think they could be great. I'm a little bit hung up on the fact that on paper, Vitality is still better. And in terms of RLCS results, Vitality is still better. And so that last split, yes, they don't have Rise anymore. I don't think Rise is the only problem for that Carmine Core roster when they didn't make the second major last year. It's definitely an upgrade.
Bradley's an upgrade, Bradley consensus top 5 in the world right now, top 3.
Yeah,
that's really hard though. You have Zen Exotic, Beastman, Daniel Drawley is like just top 5 in my opinion.
I don't know if he's consensus top 5 considering I got him at 6 in the fantasy draft, but I think he should be consensus top 5.
Joyo went second in the fantasy draft. So I don't think that's an accurate measurement.
That's fair, but yeah, I'll move him up at a moment's notice. Don't get me wrong. But starting out,
I'm still mad for having Falcons over KC before.
Oh, just wait. All right, what's your Falcons at 3 take then?
All right, I have them a smidge over energy. I think they're going to be. No, I think they're going to continue their momentum because I feel like they're going to keep stomping Mina. As I said, I think they lose 1 regional to Rise, Atomic, and Whooper.
Yeah,
Nupo and Redpo, whatever it is. I don't know.
But yeah. Okay.
I think they're going to continue. I feel like sweeping the regional back, that's going to, of course, give you a lot of momentum. It's like, guys, we've had our third perfect split in a row. Like, that's as good of a jumping pad as you can have into a major, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. And then, last but not least,
I think they just continue. Okay, can I just give a shout out to the guy on Reddit who said, that TRK is going to be the undisputed best player in the world next season? Because you're wrong, but
that's not right.
A commitment to the bit.
I do respect trying to make that claim, but you're not right. Unfortunately, I don't see that vision.
Yeah.
For number 1 and number 2, I've still got.
Reveal number 2 first, because
I think. I mean, we're both going to know what number 1 is, so I think I'm going to reveal them both at the same time. I'm still waiting on Falcons and Vitality. You're still waiting on Carmine Core and Vitality. I think we just go ahead and send this because, yeah, you can deduce what the number 1 ranking is by the number 2. So,
yeah, okay, yeah, that's good. That's good.
number 1 and number 2, we got Omelet number 1 for Myth.
You have
All right.
Neil, the clinical striker. You got Lion Blaze, defensive mastermind.
USA.
Percy, generational glue man. I don't understand any of the. No, I've Carmen Core.
Yep.
No, shout out to Neil. I've glazed my way to a job with that man. I already got the Twitter follow. Like the job is coming next. Trust.
You got the Twitter follow for roasting him. Wow, that's bold. He needs to.
I apologized to him. I apologized to him in DMs, and he followed me.
No, that's fair. That's fair. He needs to keep track of the haters though, so he has motivation to win.
I think it's easier to follow me because I have a flare on Reddit, so it's easy to notice me.
It's also true, yeah. All right.
Falcons number 1, man. Over the GOAT, the greatest prodigy to ever touch the game and the best player at Worlds.
Yeah.
Oh, guys. We're doxing this guy, chat. Come on, man.
So, I would not have these guys here. I would not have these guys here if it weren't for FIFA E. I'm going to be 100% honest. I think there was always the prevailing narrative of, these guys can't win in finals. They can't, they're the best team in the world until finals, and then they fall apart.
I heard you say that with Belair.
Yeah.
I had to say that with Belair, but here's my issue, right?
Yep.
The Falcons is a team that is playing together for give or take a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a more like 13 months, given it was about November last year that it was announced that they were kicking Ahmad and Nipper for the Twins. Right? And this Team France, I'm playing together for a week. Now, I don't care how good the players are. If you're playing together for a week, you're not going to beat this energy. I think, on average, France had the better players, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're only playing for a week whilst Falcons are playing together, as I said, 13 months, You're never going to... I had Saudi winning just based on that, right?
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of people underrate how important that synergy is. I'd like to hear your reasoning as to why you have them number 1.
Yeah. So, because even in RLCS events, yes, they got 4th at Worlds. They almost reverse swept BDS, but then again, everyone almost reverse swept everyone that tournament, so that doesn't really count for all that much.
As you would know.
As I would know pretty darn well.
In chat.
But I
really have some fun memories of that one.
Yeah, I don't.
No, really. I remember once I asked you, when do you ever swear? And then you say, only when things get really bad.
And then they got really bad.
Left, right, center.
Yep, that was fun. But yeah, so Falcons at number 1. I think the one thing I've probably overlooked with this is I don't really apply the same logic to Falcons that I do to NRG with the whole, they've been together for a year, and normally we see teams start to falter if they do that. I don't really take that. Then again, there's no one that you can get for an upgrade, truthfully, for either team. There were talks about, what if LJ replaced Atomic? I don't think you mess with that. But
yeah, someone saying replacement with Nas.
With Nas, yeah, absolutely. That's a move.
We both know who I'm talking about.
We both
People don't, but they will.
But yeah, Falcons at number 1. I've got faith that they'll continue, and I mean, they're on a short leash because they're in Mina. If they slip up at all in Mina, they're getting dropped. I think they have to be perfect to be in that spot. But then again, they've been perfect in Mina several times before. So as long as we see that, I'll probably have them as my major one of favorites.
Mina as a region, I've had 24 regionals, right? And a person on the winning team, or PRK has won
20 of those, right?
20 of them.
Yeah, 20 out of 24.
4 regionals. What? 20 out of 24, yeah. And the other 4 were won by the Twins.
Yep. So it's hard to see anyone else overtake that. Granted, I think they're going to have a bit steeper competition. I like the Twisted Minds squad that was assembled to try to rival them. I don't think they will, to be honest.
Full of amazing native talent like Rise, now spelled with a 1 to fit in with Mina.
But yeah,
and LDK Atomic.
to touch on your point about FIFA E being, team experience with playing together versus like a hodgepodge of individuals, I do feel like that argument can get used either way. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, it's a super team of, the best players. Of course, they're always going to beat this, well established team. Or it's like, if that doesn't happen, then it's, oh, well, of course, this well established team isn't that great.
I don't know. No, I had a bookmark tweet calling out TRK. I cannot be accused.
But yeah, I think the fact that they actually just got rid of the finals curse, I think that easily could have gone the other way if they don't win that like 9-minute overtime that they had. Because if they go down 2-0 in that series against France, it's just over. But because they won that and they were able to recapture the momentum, I think it's a lot more different. But yeah, maybe it's a little bit of the hope in me that isn't like, oh, France is going to dominate the world for the next several months. But
I mean, they are.
I really hope they're not.
I'm telling you right now. Here's what I'm telling you right now. KC are winning Regional 1. Vitality are winning... not Regional 1. KC are winning Major 1. Vitality are winning Major 2. And Monkey Moon will be your 3-time world champion by the end of 2025.
If that happens, oh gosh, please no. Please no. Oh, we need some hope. I don't know if Falcons win a major. I think if they keep up what they're doing, and
not winning a major, sorry, not really loud. Falcons are not winning a major. They had the chance.
They have a chance. They have the best chance that I think they've had now that they've got the finals monkey.
Now, London 3, easily the best chance.
Oh, that was one of their highest chances, yeah. But I guess, yeah. I mean, they were there. We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, PPE was literally made for them, in my opinion.
It was made for them, and they still struggled at the start.
They were the best actual team there. They were the best actual RLCS team there, which, in my opinion, was...
It could have also been made for Team USA if we showed up. But we didn't. Too soon.
I think USA would have done if they had the initial roster of Daniel Atomic FK.
Not as well. You can't replace Beast Mode with First Killer. If they had their
not the actual one.
Or no, not they would have done better than RMC. They would have done better than RMC, but I think they would have.
Maybe they would game 2 against Chile. That might be the improvement.
They would have been.
I actually became Chilean after that.
I did see that.
Chilean for a bit, and you saw him.
Got your passport.
That was one of my funniest bits. Yeah.
All right, swing.
I think Vitality and Casey are going to be neck and neck. Right now, I have Casey just ahead because they won flip and spin.
Okay, that's fair.
Those are my basic faults.
That's fair. I think. Yeah, flip and spin definitely does signal that KC could come out on top. And I guess if we look at last season, it did signify the start of the takeover for KC. Yes, I know they played with Nolly instead of a Tau, but yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but this is.
I just unfortunately have.
That is unfortunately the biggest counters to my whole stuck together as an RLCS team thing.
Yeah.
I think Vic took extended breaks after they won Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use that as cope.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, whilst we're here, can we throw out a few other predictions? Just
yeah, go for it.
I have a few questions that I want to see your opinion on, just quickly.
Yep.
Little bonuses for the loyal Martin Turtle follower base.
Yeah.
Do you think NIP wins a regional?
First split or second split?
So.
Second split, yes.
I don't think they do.
I think it's very valid. I think I could very much see a world where they go back and forth with Carmine Core and Vitality only winning the regionals, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Ninja Pajamas slip in there at one point. They could very easily slip into the last regional.
Team to win it outside. I think they have the highest team out of that. 4 race between NIP, Intimates, Geek and Dig. They have the highest peak, and they're the most likely. But I think Katie and Vic go 3-3. As I said, I'm predicting a domination season from those two.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, we've got to stick this on Reddit.
Oh, we don't stick this on Reddit just yet. I gotta get.
No, actually, yeah.
No, I got to get Belair, or well, maybe not Belairs, but I got to get the 2 other rankings before
Oh,
they make them.
leaked
So
too
I leaked it.
many.
I leaked it. I got to try to get the other 2 people who are going to do predictions before we put these out there. So, but yeah.
They're smaller, his long lost cousin.
But yeah, I guess any more predictions questions?
I was thinking, do you think Team Secret come into a major as a 1 seed, even major overtaking Furia?
No, I don't see it.
Okay.
I think they'll
Who do you
definitely win
have?
events, but who do I have?
Wait. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
For Major 1, are your NA teams NRG, Jeff, Kron, Cole, and Omelette?
No, I don't believe Omelet's going to make the major. I just think they're currently the 4th best team.
Who do you have making it?
I don't want to put this out there. It's.
Martin.
I think it's.
I would pronounce your name wrong.
I think it's one of these 2. I think it depends on how well Kofor does. It depends on how well the SSG guys do. But I do think it's going to be either SSG or Hawks or Kago Kofor. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of other things that could have caused pop off. Like I think Shopify could pop off.
If they get their act together, they should. I was going to have them, but I don't think I said it on Belair's podcast. Maybe I did.
If Gingy can replicate, their split 1 with Luminosity, then they could actually be. It could be okay.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah. So, I guess if I had to ask a question, I'm surprised there's only 3 European teams in your top 8 from the RIP. Now, last season, Itachi was cited saying that EU is able to send 4 teams that are able to win a LAN each and every year. How many teams do you think are going to be able to win a LAN? I feel like I know the answer to this, but how many teams do you feel like Europe is going to be able to send to LAN that are going to be able to win it?
My issue is I don't foresee. I think there's 2 because I don't foresee anyone be able to beat Kate because I feel like unless you get an extraordinarily lucky bracket, you have to beat. Not even bracket wise. You're gonna have to beat one of KC or Vitality eventually.
Yeah, I don't think you can get a lucky bracket. Like just with at least for majors, Swiss into AFL, I don't think you can fluke your way into a top 4 or a top 2 at all. So
I just dropped my pen. Sorry. Oh Christ! And it does concern me that NAS is on an IP. But if I'm being honest, because I'm stuck between my hating NAS agenda and actually thinking he's kind of okay.
He's simultaneously the most overrated and underrated player, from what I've heard. So,
yeah, from me.
Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah, because there's a certain someone upping his stock, and I referenced him earlier.
Yep.
I've referenced him in literally every single one of my I've referenced him in literally both of these, like the podcast of Bella and this.
Yeah,
that's actually annoys me.
All right. Well, I think that just about wraps us up. We've got our top 20. I'm probably going to edit this down a little bit and cut out some of the. I don't even know what I would cut out, to be honest, because we did talk like the entire 1 hour 20 minutes, but we'll see.
Just make a confirmation of me speaking. Cut yourself out.
I think, yeah. I actually might put out the unedited version of this as like a longer form video and then do a short form video where I like reveal all the rankings as well. I haven't entirely decided, but this I like having the space to be able to talk more in detail about all 20 of these without having to feel
like it's been great fun getting
so
long time coming.
Yeah, absolutely. But anything that you want to shout out before I close this out?
My Twitter.
Follow
me. I'll find a pinned tweet.
Let's find. Oh yeah, the I'm first killer. Let's see.
Make me chuckle every time, bro. My
Mythalieon.
Twitter, like, also community ranking top 20. So keep an eye out for that on my Twitter. Currently, we only have 2 honorable mentions, that being Banana Head and Joyo.
Oh yeah, we've got Behead Joyo.
Yeah, but more coming soon.
All right, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that series.
Yeah, it's going to be some of these picks, man. The community's crazy, man.
Yeah, it was great having you on, Myth. Looking forward to doing some pre-major ones that we can all sit down and talk about and see how, because I know you're also going to be sending in lists before and after every single event. So very curious to see how this list changes throughout the season. We'll definitely keep tabs on that, even when we don't have you on the video itself. But yeah, thanks for coming on. Hopefully if you guys manage to stick around to this, appreciate it. And we will catch you all next time. Adios.
Yeah, sorry about this mammoth episode. It's probably the longest episode video you've ever done, no?
No, you're good. You're good. It's up there. But yeah.